And here we have all three figures out of the box. We've got Ratchet, we've got Vehicon, and we've got Arcee. Now, of the three, Vehicon is definitely interesting in the fact that he is a complete shell former. Pretty much the arms, legs, and back are nothing more than a shell. Ratchet is a little bit the same in that his arms and legs form a shell, but Arcee is different. It's definitely a more unique transformation for a Legends class figure. In fact, the engineering is incredible on Arcee, I personally think. Posability for these guys is limited. Arcee, her head does not move, her arms are solid pieces of plastic on ball joints, and then ball joint in the hip and hinge joint in the legs. Ratchet is head doesn't move again, ball joint here at the shoulder, and then a hinge joint at the legs. And Vehicon, well, don't even try posing him because he'll just fall over. But he's got a hinge joint at the knee, ball joint at the leg, and ball joint combo hinge joint for the arms. Now, overall, they all look really good, and I have to admit the detailing on each of them is really, really nice. Vehicon looks like, well, he looks like a Vehicon. Arcee, I think, has some of the best detailing, simply because the paint is really well done on this figure. I'm gotta give it to the makers because they really did a good job. And then Ratchet looks equally good. Just the molding on the chest and the torso is fantastic. Even if the rest of him is kind of brickish, but the molding just is really good, and the paint job is really spot on. Just very, very surprising of the quality of these little guys. Now, the one thing I do not like is the fact that both Ratchet and Arcee have the same exact weapons as Cliffjumper and Bumblebee. Specifically, Bumblebee has the double gun and Cliffjumper has the sword thingy. But, not a big deal. I just find that reuse of weapons a little bit annoying. Now, Vehicon, on the other hand, has a completely unique weapon. And it's really stupid. You have the gun, which is the Vehicon Gun. It looks very similar to the Deluxe class toy. However, it's got this giant cancerous tumor of a blade here on the side. I don't really get it, because you could hold it like this, but you're bludgeoning with the gun at the same time you're supposedly cutting. And it doesn't even work as a bayonet. It's just kind of silly, and compared to the other weapons, this thing's almost twice as heavy as the other weapons, which is weird. But I do really like the purple. The Dark Energon purple color is really cool. So transformation-wise, we're going to start off with the Vehicon because he has probably the simplest next to Ratchet. To start, we'll just fold the back out a little bit so we can rotate the head down. And before we do that, I want to show you the head. It's phenomenally detailed for a figure of this size. Close that up, close the legs together, and then drop the arms down like that. And just getting everything lined up is a little bit of a pain. And there we go. Nice little vehicle mode. I really do like the car vehicle mode, very Cadillac-esque. Excuse me, I don't know what my cat wants, but oh well. Feet sticking out of the back. Little silly, but hey, perfectly good vehicle mode. So, we'll look at Ratchet next. And Ratchet, his transformation is by far the easiest. Fold the feet up, put the legs together, fold the back up, and then put the arms forward over his head, and there we have a nice blocky ambulance. Unfortunately, the ambulance, while nicely detailed in the front, on the front grille, the rest of the mode is boring. It's just a brick. But hey, overall the figure's pretty good, but I think this is a little bit weak as alt modes go, but it's not bad. And he can hold up to 3 different weapons, so 1, 2, 3. So that is pretty cool. And the whole figure can be disassembled with 1 screw. I find that a little funny. Anyway, last but not least, let's take a look at Arcee. Now, the one thing I did notice is the gun is really hard to get into her hand, and why on earth does it have a holding peg on the back? She's just gonna bludgeon some? Actually, it kind of looks like that thing the weapon that Cole McGrath uses in Infamous on the PlayStation. Just a whacking electric stick. Anyway, her transformation is fascinating to me. Take the arms and put them directly out to the side. Fold the wheel in the right leg forward, and then fold the wheel in the left leg completely down, and then sandwich the legs together. You just kind of have to play with it a little bit while leaning her forward, and you get this this cool like pseudo transform bike mode. Kind of reminds me of something from the 80s cartoon of the Centaurians. It just reminds me of that for some reason. But then what you do is you take the backpack and fold it over her head, and then fold her completely forward. Take the arms and fold them back to form the rear fuselage of the vehicle, and then fold the wings in. And we've got a nice little motorcycle mode. And out of the three, this is my favorite. Arcee, the Legend class figure, is just really, really cool. It's got a great transformation, and I like the bike mode a lot. These Legion class figures are really, really cool. I'm really glad I got a hold of them. I picked them all up at ToysRUs.com, and of the three, I would have to recommend Arcee the most. She is definitely my favorite of the three, but they're all really nice and a lot of fun, and they really are good to have in your collection. Now, of all the Legion class figures, between Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, and these three, I think if you only could get two, get Cliffjumper and get Arcee. Those two are my favorite. I think they're the best. They've got the most interesting transformation, and they just, I think, look the best out of the three. But really, you can't go wrong with any of these. They're all equally good. Well, let me rephrase that. They're all strong toys, and they all are a lot of fun and worthy of being in your collection. But if I had to pick, I would pick either Arcee or Cliffjumper. So here we have all of the Legion class that are available at this time. Now you will notice that I have somehow managed to cobble together all of the weapons into one giant ridiculous weapon of mass destruction. And they are all, just wanted to give you guys a good look of all of them together. Wait a minute. Five primary-ish colors with a giant combined weapon? This feels awful familiar. Oh, son of a...